Good morning, everyone. Today's the 5th of May, 2022. You ever gone to Catholic church? That's how they talk. I have. Today we're going to be talking about one of our favorite subjects, privacy coins. Specifically, we're going to be talking about Pirate Chain and Monero. We're going to be talking about that with a indicator entitled the VPVR. So let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? Yes, let us embark on this journey. So, quick definition. What's the VPVR? What is it? I don't know. Volume profile. Definition of volume profile is an advanced charting study that displays trading activity over a specified time period at specified price levels. The study, accounting for user-defined parameters such as number of rows and time period, plots a histogram on the chart meant to reveal dominant and or significant price levels based on volume. Essentially, a volume profile takes the total volume traded at a specific price level during the specified time period and divides the total volume into either buy volume or sell volume, and then makes that information easily visible to the trader. So what that means is it plots the volume on the chart to the left as opposed to plotting volume on the bottom of the chart, where let's take a look at that. There it is. It just plotting volume like that doesn't do anything for me. I've always, and I know people trade that way. They look at that and they trade that way. You like that? Do you like it? I know people trade that way, but it just like doesn't really do anything for me. But when I saw the volume chart on the left, I was like, wow, that's gonna make it really easy for me to um, plot levels of support and resistance. So jumping into Pirate and how you can use this to better your knowledge about trading. So, if you didn't already know, so this red line is where this is on the daily. This red line is where I saw Pirate get to, and I sold some when right about here because I was like, oh, it's gonna go down. And so what I had done, um, after I plotted these lines in there, it was right about here. I was like, okay, I think it's gonna go down, and I plotted a line like so. I drew a line. I was like, I think it's gonna go down like this. I actually drew it out a bit like this. I was like, okay, here's my other line. Here's my big line of support and resistance. It's right there right now. It money flow is in the red. I think that it's gonna go down some more because this money flow was increasing to the negative. There are factors that told me, oh, it's probably gonna come down a little more. Um, so I sold a little right there. I plotted a little um, short position on there like so. Boom. I have my stop above this line right here. And then I had my take profit at this spot. That's not what I wanted to do. So how this would have played out, if I was using any sort of leverage or anything, it would have gone bing, and it would have said, hey bitch, uh, here's your stop. That's nice. Glad you set that. See ya. And then kept going in the same direction. And I would have been, not as pissed as I might have used to be. But that's what might have happened. And I would have placed it there because this level I figured was kind of a significant point. And how I got to that spot was I marked this red line because that's where I would have used this volume, this visible range volume profile to plot this stuff. So how I would have gotten to this point would have been um, plotting these lines on here. So we're going to go ahead and select these four and group them together. let's just go ahead and like delete that stuff. Just go ahead and delete it. Let's go ahead, just delete the whole thing. Redo it. Do it again. So this is on the Coinex chart, and it gives data a little further back um, than another chart that I was using. So what we're going to be using is from this red line, which is where we started it, to previous, and I'll give it to right about here. So now what we're going to do is mark out the most significant points, the most significant levels on here. So obviously this point of control where that gray line is, that's where the most volume is on this chart. We're going to mark one there. And then we have a little guy here, but I'm not going to worry about that one as much because this is kind of a range. It's kind of a range depending on how you want to look at it, as detailed as you want to look. We're looking at the daily, so we're looking at like big picture, maybe weeks into months, like what we're looking at. So this general zone right here, we can see that there's a lot of volume traded in here from this point, the 2.2, down to the 1.8 or so, this general area, and then nothing, maybe a little spot here. Then volume decreased a lot, and then it started to pick up with the most volume traded here, and then back down. And then we have a little wick here, we have some more here and here and then here, but generally speaking, not quite as much volume as here. But in this zone down here, from let's call it what 1.44 down to shoot the dollar level, maybe 90-cent level, we have buying and selling occurring, but we have this big gap in here with maybe one spot. And so let's scroll back over. Let's get rid of the VPVR. Let's group all these guys together. Let's call it VPVR for the daily. Yeah, let's call that VPVR of the day. So now we can do the whole thing at once. So, okay. Anyway, I didn't even try. I'm sorry. So I did, yeah, kind of right. Like, that projected, but I actually projected this. I was like, okay, I think this is going to project down. I thought it didn't look right. No, not you. I want to Thank you. Okay. I was like, this is what I thought it was going to do. Something like that. And so anyway, I took that short. I sold a little bit. It wasn't necessarily a short. It was I sold some because on the daily it was sauntering down, and on those smaller time frames, it was doing like a similar. It was doing a similar thing for it. So that's what I thought. And so when I cross-checked it with the VPVR with the volume, then I thought, oh, okay, they're like down in this area might be significant. So now what we do is look at to see if which levels are actually significant. Um, so we'll go back to the 4-hour and see what it did, which levels it actually kind of respected. And so it looks like comes up, touches that, kind of just blitzed right through this one, huh? So let's go ahead and get rid of that one. This one might be significant. We have two right next to each other. Didn't get to this one. That might be significant in the future. Let's take a look. Let's go back to our daily. Those two lines right next to each other. Pull up the VPVR one more time. I'm sorry. I want to see it. Show it to me. 1 and 2. It might be. Sure, let's leave it. Maybe it just means that this is a little stronger. So let's check the time. It's 10 minutes so far. Okay, so we This one's significant, that one's significant. We'll call that good. So now what do we think from this point? Okay, so here we are. Today is the 5th. The 5th. Today's the 5th. Go to the daily. Today's the 5th. What's it gonna do? It looks like it got rejected off of this one. So so it came up, it interacted with this line. We have an interaction off the line, we have a rejection off that line. It's not totally engulfing. Well, I guess it's kind of, this one's engulfing against that one. It's engulfing to the downside. And so what we could expect is probably a continuation down. Maybe, right? Maybe. Factor saying a continuation down and the next spot where it could go. So here, and now if people are trading it, they're probably going to be, looking to maybe take a short or sell some on the way down, and look to close that or buy it back in at the 1.20. If we're trading on a smaller time frame like this, if you're trading on a bigger one, maybe you're looking to start dollar cost averaging from this point down into it if you're interested. So let's call it that. On the 4-hour, let's take a look at money flow. 4-hour, the money flow is increasing up. I mean, it did increase. It's still negative, but it increased. We had a almost to the 60 negative wave. Momentum signaling is going to go into the opposite direction here. We don't have a anchor wave necessarily. Kind of do. That's really the only anchor wave we have is over here in March. 23rd of March is the only anchor wave that we really have for this. That's on the 4-hour. On the daily, just at the end of March was the last large anchor wave that we have for this asset right here. Okay, so what do we want to do? I'm gonna sell a little bit because I think it's gonna go down. I don't know. It might not. It might look like a total idiot on this, and wouldn't be the first time. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So this is my study of trading, and I'm sharing it. I'm sharing what I'm thinking with you, and maybe we can learn together. So I'll sell a little bit on that. And then once it gets back down in this region, I'll consider buying a little more. Especially, check this out. If we come down and we touch here, this probably a significant level, and we come down. So we don't specifically have a wave there, but sort of. But let's say we come back down to this area, and then like this, and then just have a little bit of a trigger, a little bit of a wave, and we have money flow increase. That would be a good sign that we're probably going to come up and retest this again. So maybe just ranging in this area, or yeah, I mean, possibly that could be one scenario. So, but since it rejected on this, it kind of looks like it did. Then that's what I'm going to go with for pirate. Bearish on pirate or bearish. I'm going to look like a total retard after this goes up through the roof because there's something I didn't see. That's what I'm going to put for it. Bearish. Next. What's next? Pirate against Bitcoin. And this chart is maybe we'll get into next time. Kind of what I'd like to trade off, honestly, because I'm not trading pirate into dollars. I'm trading pirate to Bitcoin, back and forth. So we'll get into that one next time. I don't think we got time to get into this because if I haven't lost your attention at this point, I'm gonna lose it in the next 5 minutes. And I don't want to be sloppy, just like going off on random because I don't want to waste your time, and I want this to be entertaining for you and informational. Um, so maybe I'll make one more video. Maybe try to tighten it up a little bit. Um, so, but anyway, what I'm gonna go through is this same thing on ETH, on Bitcoin, um, which there's some news on these on ETH and Bit. There's some news, for this. Uh, already just kind of moving. It's moving right now. 37. Just this morning, it's been just moving, and to the downside, which another factor for Pirate, you know, because the entire crypto market kind of undulates together, and Bitcoin leads the charge. I'm not the first one to tell you that. You know that. Um, but that's generally how that goes. So here's your video. Here's your video, Pirate. I'm gonna sell a little bit. That's the action I'm gonna take. Um, and I have my area already targeted out for where I'd like to buy back a little bit. Maybe I'll shave into it. Maybe I'll but that's kind of what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. So just shy of 17 minutes. Over time, hopefully I'll get better with these videos, more efficient, blah blah blah, and more informational and better trading. Um, so I hope this was informational and entertaining for you. Have a great Cinco de Mayo. I'm not going to tell you to be safe. I mean, do it, but I just can't. It's just so trite. Be safe out there. So trite. Go have some fun. Whatever. Just, yeah. See ya.